Yo, welcome back to the Stuff or Whatever podcast. Your host, BQuanchi here. Before we get started, we always like to say the best way to support me and the channel is to like, comment, and subscribe. We do on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can follow on Twitter to catch updates and all that, as well as when I go live on Twitch when I do gaming. And those game streams do get uploaded to YouTube as VODs, and you can, come in full circle with that. Also, kind of Let's Plays, some shorts, like quick game reviews and stuff like that. Stuff I'm in the works that I'm kind of getting lazy about, but I always say it's a hobby, and it's part of it's like, is anyone even listening? So it's kind of hard to have that motivation sometimes, but a lot of times if I'm gonna check out games or play games, might as well broadcast, record it, upload it, just in case. I always like to kind of have a showcase on certain games, or I know if you check out my Let's Play series, I always kind of I always also have the fun of organizing stuff on the channel. Like if you go to the actual channel page on YouTube, have playlists. I try to update them and change them around. Just depending what I have going on in terms of series, because again, no one's really listening, but I am finishing up Sonic Lost World Spyro, and trying to finish up Hollow Knight and Blasphemous, the first game. I am taking some vacation time, so there's going to be a little break, but there are going to be some uploads in the meantime, mostly the Let's Play stuff. And yeah, also I got stuff on sale and on Steam. Fallout New Vegas and Skyrim. Haven't played. I believe I played Fallout New Vegas a little bit. So it's something I'm not sure if I'm going to do a full playthrough. So I know some of those games can be very long and lengthy and all that, but we'll see. But yeah, we got a very special podcast. It's funny. A lot of times I always like to say that kind of ongoing joke saying it's a very special podcast, and when I stream a very special stream, but it's always the same. But a lot of times I catch myself, when I'm editing the podcast, I call it a stream on occasions and all that, but it is what it is. Besides some of the series I want to do, I've been also debating, which I do have a big backlog too in terms of the Let's Play stuff, but I kind of want to do long plays with commentaries from more retro games like SNES and Genesis, maybe less than 2 hours. Because I always feel like I always worry if I try to do a more regular uploads, because with the stream VODs on top of the this and that, it can get a little bloated. Don't want people to be turned off, but again, it's no one's really mentioning anything, so it's kind of hard to really test the waters. Although something's kind of working, maybe kind of not, but I'm having fun. If I'm just playing games and doing this stupid podcast where I'm just kind of thinking out loud, screaming to the void and all that, I think it just helped in the meantime, with speaking a little bit. In previous podcasts, but I grew up with a lot of issues with speech and was in speech therapy for a lot of my grade school and middle school. But yeah, just kind of if it's nothing else, it's a little bit of practice, and it just makes me think on how I can articulate my ideas and thoughts, or just comment, almost like a captain's log or a journal or something like that. The first thing I want to talk about is the more details about Colleen Ballinger. We talked a little bit of that last week on the podcast. With the whole Toxic Gossip Train song that she saying, I guess it's her quote unquote apology, but it didn't really feel like an apology or really taking accountability. But there was issues. I think the biggest one was highlighted by the H3H3 podcast, is that her song was uploaded to I think CD Baby's their partner, because a lot of these individuals or artists or whatever had to work with third parties or something for distribution or something like that, because I heard it uploaded on iTunes and Spotify and all that. But the issue is that it was copyright claiming stuff, including the H3 podcast that was reacting to it. The people and some people I don't recall who, just because I didn't see everyone's reaction, everyone's commentary to her initial video, but they were thinking, oh, she's making this song so you can monetize or copyright strike or something. I don't think it's really much of a copyright strike because from what I saw, it's like sharing monetization and kind of claiming monetization. I even made a joke like maybe she's using it for upcoming legal issues. But I guess the official, at least her PR, so I'm not sure how official that is, but I guess supposedly it wasn't actually uploaded by Colleen. Although that's a name, but someone kind of probably faked it and all that. And I think the funny thing is that it is 100% believable, but I think that's a narrative, or the narrative they're trying to spin is that she didn't do that and they're trying to look into it further. They're still kind of like playing out. But yeah, and it's also kind of crazy too because I know I think it was fairly recent, but someone got like, I think a lot of jail time or even fines for milking the copyright system, like made like fake companies or fake labels, and like got like kind of like harvested so many different songs that they put into the catalog, quote unquote, and then copyright channels left and right. Just it can be a little iffy too. Like it just depends because sometimes copyright claim. I get this sometimes with my Let's Plays and stuff like that. So I never really had like a copyright strike, but I feel like that's more like if you're blatantly uploading a TV show or a movie or a full song or stuff like that. That sometimes I know a while back it didn't really get that popular, but I did I had a little video about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and it got copyright claimed and blocked. And I just made so many edits to it that eventually got through. But it was annoying because it's like, oh, no one can see this. Like, versus sometimes like, oh, they claim all the monetization, or okay, we're sharing it, or you can't monetize it all. Because I did some dumb meme or shitpost kind of uploads on the channel in the past. The one that comes to mind for a good example was I did a one on Clarence with the cartoon show on Cartoon Network. Like did a prank call, but I did one tiny edit, just like a D's Nuts joke. But that got claimed by Cartoon Network. No biggie, but it just said it's like, oh, you can't monetize that. But also one thing that's very interesting when it comes to YouTube, at least in copyright and monetization, it doesn't affect YouTube Shorts. Because I also know that because I did a funny funny in my opinion, is it was an old like commercial for I think a Nokia phone. It was like people working like a Pizza Hut like restaurant and like listening to a Godsmack song and the headphones. It's like the animatronic band is playing Godsmack with the kids cheering. And I made a joke, oh, it's a sneak peek at the Freddy's movie, but that got copyright claimed. But it's like, oh, that's a policy that it doesn't affect monetization or visibility. So I think that's why YouTube Shorts is so short. Because I wish, like, why can't it be like 2 minutes or thing? It's always like less than a minute. But I think YouTube does that just to keep things short and simple to avoid so many floods of new copyright claims. Probably get like a ton with the regular uploads already and all that. But if it's considered YouTube short and you have copyright music, it won't affect you. I would still recommend like don't upload like a minute of a song or a minute clip of a cartoon. Like have your own commentary or do something somewhat transformative or stuff like that, even if it's like a dumb meme. I'm not sure like how things will play out, but I think that's why YouTube Shorts have that policy in the way they make them so short. So I would wish to give you a little extra time for YouTube Shorts, but it's what it is. If it means like you can avoid less copyright bullshit. But also, you know, like the ratio of the video, you can get around. So you can make a upload less than a minute and not be considered a YouTube short as long as the actual video size or I guess I forget like the dimensions or ratio of it is set a certain way. I know for the YouTube Shorts, I feel like those get pushed a lot more because I noticed like even though it's like dumb like quick game reviews, I noticed they get more views, visibility. I know people just like swipe off or just said it feeds so much, so I feel like I definitely get that more than my streams, and that's why I've been kind of doing that. I kind of want to do more stuff. I think my big thing is doing quick game reviews, just because it's kind of a fun challenge too, just to kind of summarize thoughts in less than a minute. Although I do want to do like game reviews or game commentary that's more than just a minute, so outside that short format or restriction and all that. But yeah, that's kind of crazy. We'll see how things get play out. I think like all her tour dates have been canceled for Colleen Ballinger, for Brianna Sings, whatever you want to call it. But I thought that was crazy that the whole like copyright claim thing, and people like, oh, we call that, like, okay, it seems that it actually isn't her doing this bullshit, but it's definitely 100% believable. So things play out. But I think it just feels like even the original videos, they seem so delusional. Like, I don't know. Who the hell thinks, like, people compare it to the Logan Paul apology when he did the video of the trip to Japan to the suicide forest. And compare that, hers is a lot worse. It is crazy. And then I doubt I'll get internet famous, but if I do get somewhat popular, I don't go delusional like that. But one last, for now, I would say last, but it's probably a few comments for the whole debacle for now. And I also want to talk about Threads, the new app, social media that's backed by Meta, that's really connected to Instagram. I talked about it last week, and it was kind of confusing because I had trouble finding it in like the App Store, or in Google Play is what I use on my device. I got it, and it seems okay. It doesn't seem as bad as I thought it would be. Oh, by the way, I am on Threads at BQuanchi if you do want to give me a follow. I don't think I'm going to utilize it too much right now, just because it's very new and it feels like so much effort to do this and that. And I feel like, honestly, Twitter's not going to die unless Elon Musk fucks it over so hard that it like just can't function like as, I know, like not pay servers or bills and stuff like that. So if the website literally can't function, I don't think Twitter's going anywhere. Threads does seem like it could be the best alternative. It's kind of convenient, although I never really got much of an Instagram following, which I'm on that as well if you want to check that out. I think if you want to actually see my ugly mug, it's up. And other memes, I kind of use them as a meme dumping ground. I might do that for Threads too. The one thing I like about Threads more than Instagram is that it allows you to post links that actually work. Because like, oh, maybe I should do that post to kind of like promote my YouTube channel. Because I know you can have like the profile link to like a homepage or whatever on a post. Like, oh, you can't make clickable links. That's annoying. But you can on Threads, so that's kind of convenient. But they don't have hashtags. That's the craziest thing on Threads, is that you can't use hashtags every time. It doesn't mean anything. So I felt like they rushed it for Meta, Facebook, whatever you want to call it. I just rushed it out so fast. So I feel like they should be more like discoverability and hashtags and trending stuff to kind of be, because I heard there's a lot of ex-Twitter employees working on Threads, working for Meta. I think like this Elon Musk had a big hissy fit, like wanting to put a cease and desist because like stealing their secrets or whatever. So for Threads, it could be a whole lot worse. Like I tried Hive because the last time Twitter died, or RP Twitter, Hive was something that was talked about, but I feel like it's a lot lacking more. A Blue Sky, I don't know, just because it's very limited and you have to get like an invite, so I haven't even touched that. It doesn't interest me as much. Yeah, I think Threads might be something. It just needs more to it. It feels like it was very underbaked when they put it out, but it's definitely not the worst. But just having so many social media platforms, it's like I don't want to focus too much on that. But it might be dumping ground, like a meme or something. Because I'm not sure if it's worth it to post like when I post a podcast or upload and all that. But it is good to know that links do work. I'm not sure if it's going to be like Twitter, because I know on Twitter it's very iffy with visibility and links. Like I think a lot of times it like thinks it's like a bot or something like that. But like a lot, you see a lot of like people like post it like, oh, I've made a new video, and then they post like a second tweet attached to it with the actual link to the video. So we'll see. Like they could pull it off, but it is definitely lacking. And next, I want to talk about the Steam Summer Sale. I'm not sure if most of my, well, if you can tell by my uploads, I am quite a gamer. I do like my occasional video game. I know the Steam Summer Sale was like the big thing. It feels very lacking. I don't know if it's like maybe around the holidays is when they go more hard on a sale, but I feel like there wasn't really much like discounts. Like a lot of 20%. There was a few 70%, but it's like, I don't know. It's like sometimes I get that wallet fatigue and stuff like that, and also try not to like overdo it. I think the best was, I don't think it was quite part of it, but the Bethesda sale where I got Fallout and Skyrim. But a lot of part, like I do keep track of my wish list, and I get those emails like, oh, these on sale. I think they even had them tailored to the summer sale. And like, it's not as big as a discount as I would like. Also, I kind of feel like this like sense of guilt of being a consumer that a lot of indie games I wish list and a lot of indie games I follow. And it's like, be cheaper so I can pay less for you versus supporting them. But Gravity Circuit just came out and I want to get that too. So that might be on the schedule for streams coming up soon. Again, I'm going to take probably like a 2-week break after this week. But yeah, just let me know like if you thought the Steam sale was a little underwhelming and all that. I feel like I do feel like Steam does the best. I have like, I'm not sure if Epic Games is still a thing because I thought they were kind of going back to Steam. Or I heard things like Ubisoft, like there's so many other companies that did their own launchers and digital storefronts, and then like they're going back to Steam. So I think Steam's definitely. I feel like Steam's the most convenient one when it comes to emails with like on sale updates. I do sometimes wishlist stuff on my Nintendo Switch, but a lot of times it doesn't feel as big of a discount on that. But for Steam, the summer sale isn't that much on fire, but I kind of wish it was. But let me know what you think, or if it was any good game or discounts and stuff like that. But I feel like if it's barely 20%, it's like that. Okay, that is a discount, but maybe I'm just trying to be cheap and all that. So now I want to talk about some social media posts. I think this is mostly on my Facebook, and I don't do public Facebook in terms of like the YouTube channel or like online presence in terms of like my Twitch streams and Twitter and all that. But I've seen some posts complaining about Wal-Mart. I feel like it's one of those copy and paste posts that someone just like puts like on one of those pages and like, oh, that's relatable. Like I complain about that too, or on that. But there was two about Walmart. And I feel, I don't know if I should always talk about shopping at Walmart, because I feel like Walmart's one of the trashy places that people are like, oh, I hate shopping there. Like, ugh. But then a lot of people still shop there. And I have no shame in a sense with that. But, you know, I do shop around too, so I don't do all my shopping at Walmart as well. But it is a convenience. But I want to talk about like two posts that I saw on social media that just kind of add my own commentary to it. Like someone like, it was like a long post talking about like a discussion they had with a Walmart employee that they're doing a self checkout, which I love. I think that's one of the best things. Though I never use a cashier because I feel like they never had them available. And so, and sometimes with like, if I go to like a grocery store that has it just depends how busy they are. A lot of times I'll do it for convenience, or if I have like big heavy stuff like 12 packs of soda beverages. But anyway, they were saying like they had a conversation with a employee bugging them because when they're using self-checkout, they were double bagging certain items. Because I do that sometimes with soda as well. Like if I get like 2 liters, like put 2 in a bag and double bag it just to make sure that's in tear. And then according to the post, the Walmart employee was complaining like you can't double bag, you have to one single bag and all of that. And then they were trying to have a conversation like, I'm double bagging it so I can keep all these items in one bag versus using multiple bags. Like I think the point of this post was just saying like, I'm still going to use the same amount of bags regardless. So whether having one bag with fewer items so it doesn't like tear or break, or double bag it to have it more secure and all that. So it's like, oh, Walmart employee is dumb and trying to enforce like never don't double bag. But my 2 cents on that is I've never ever not just Walmart but any place I've been to with self checkout, I never had an employee bug me that's saying, hey, you can't double bag, you have to single bag. That never happened. And how often like I buy like 2 liters, or a lot of times I would get like canned goods, like maybe I get like canned soup or canned diced tomatoes or canned pineapple, whatever. It just depends on what I am buying that week. But sometimes if I get like the heavy canned stuff or in jars, like pasta sauce and stuff like that, I'll double bag it. Not all, it just depends on what items. I try to be more intentional with it. But I've never, and I pretty much do self checkout on a weekly basis on Walmart. Like I feel a little trashy just talking about my shopping habits and all that, but I've never had a Walmart employee like bug me for double bagging it. It's like, oh, that's cool. Like I doubt this conversation ever happened because I never had that happen. I'm sure it does. I'm sure you get those annoying employees that kind of feel like this is the moment to have that authority or power because they don't have it anywhere else in their life. So yeah, that does happen where employees get really annoying and enforce like bullshit stuff. And it's like, obviously, you know, regardless, it's going to have the same outcome. You're going to use the same number of bags, whether you double bag it or have extra bag goods or whatever. But that never happens. I swear, like yesterday, I saw the same post and I checked the date too. I'm not sure if it was the same page because I didn't pay attention to those dumb whatever pages that you can follow on Facebook that sometimes show up on your feed. But like, no, that doesn't happen. And since this is like, it seems like a copy paste stuff, so it's like, whatever. It kind of feels like entitled, or like, oh, you're just trying to make like a relatable, or like, oh, Walmart employee being stupid because they don't have the common sense to get that, hey, same amount of bags is going to be used regardless, so why are you giving me a hard time? Especially if that doesn't copy and paste. I doubt that actually happens. And then another one, again, Walmart related, is about complaining about showing your receipt at Walmart. Because it gets to the point with like a line was building up. And I think they also mentioned self-checkout too, because they want to make sure, there's no theft. I'm sure theft happens a lot. I don't think they are able to just, probably not too often you see it, because I think a lot of people are decent and honest when it comes to that. Although it's Walmart we're talking about, and like Walmart shoppers, they like complain that there's a big line checking the receipts, and like they say like, fuck it, they just walk through, and they like try to call him like, sir, and like just ignore him, and ignore them and stuff like that. Like, oh, you just gave a retail employee a hard time or something, like shove it to company and all that. But I feel like, again, with my experience with receipts, it's usually pretty fast. I always feel like the Walmart employee at the exit just kind of checks the receipt just to make sure it makes sense. A lot of times they don't. I feel like the most part, they're not checking every cart. They rarely check me when I exit. Even I mostly get groceries and stuff like that. And a lot of times they're like holding my receipt too, so you can see like, oh, this long receipt for shopping, mostly filled. We have like, I don't like filled to the top, but it's like, yeah, that makes sense. And I think they can even eyeball, like they can tell if people trying to mess with the system. But then again, it's like minimum wage Walmart employees, so I'm not sure how much they're gonna care. There's been a few times like when I buy like maybe a new appliance and all that. Like I recently bought a Keurig coffee maker, like a coffee maker K-cup combo. I kind of gushed about that for just a second, but like when I get like an appliance like that, or I get like a mini carpet cleaner or stuff like that, like something that's like a more obviously a bigger item that I can't just like bag and stuff like that. Like I show it, you like scan it first thing, so like, oh, there it is, like first thing. So I'm a little more proactive. So I think when I see like more high dollar purchases, they definitely check it more often, but they're not checking every employee and all that. I think that like the post that I was complaining about was complaining because it went self-service, but I feel like they do that for like if you use the regular checkout too with a cashier, because I don't think they know like who checked out where. Although sometimes it's obvious if they're like watching the self-checkout, because that's usually near the exit. And also, other places do that too. Like I think Costco and Sam's Club, those warehouse stores, pretty much always do it. At least every time I've been there. Even though I don't have a membership, but like usually if I'm visiting family and I make a trip to Sam's Club or something, like they always check it. And like, no big deal. Like, why make it? It's a short thing. It's like, why make it harder? Why like get so uptight? Like you probably never work retail and give these people a hard time. But yeah, in my experience, they rarely check them unless like obviously there's like a high dollar purchase. Like maybe if they have like a computer, although a lot of electronic stuff they just have you buy them at the little register there. So I think it doesn't happen. But like if you buy like a vacuum cleaner or like a big appliance or stuff like that. Yeah, and I don't give a hard time. I mean, usually they're pretty quick about it. They're not like checking every single item on the receipt and checking every item in your cart. Like anything that you use, like stuff that's not bagged, or I mean, you have like a bunch of like soda sitting in the bottom of the cart just to make sure that was rung up because people would like pull shit all the time to like steal, and it's like it's kind of hard to defend like, oh, steal from Walmart. This is the honest company. Like, I have mine like shit happening to Walmart for I don't know. It's like one of those things like you just want to support small business, but if you get a more benefit from shopping at bigger, I don't know, it just kind of that's a whole nother story. But also can kind of segue back because I think that kind of sums up with the whole receipt post is like, no, that doesn't happen as bad, and if you just like ignore them and walk through, you're a jerk. And also, I think since it's because I shop at the same Walmart so often, I'm not sure if they really recognize me, quote unquote, because they kind of recognize some of the employees because they go on my usual days. But I would hate, it would be like fucking embarrassing to be banned from Walmart for like shoplifting or, you know, like being an ass in a way, like not showing your receipt when asked and stuff like that, and just being a jerk. So don't be a jerk. But I think that's a good sign that you're a worse trash asshole person is if you actually legitimately banned from a Walmart. I'm not sure that they do often. I never see like these customers are banned thing, like the wall of shame, like maybe the convenience stores, but yeah. But I did want to swing back to I did get a new coffee maker, and it was a Keurig because I've been using K cups for quite some time, but I had the cheap Walmart version that's like I think it's like $20. It's like, oh, this is convenient because a lot of times I do instant, and instant's good. I do like the K cups a little bit better. I think it's just convenient as well as I think I can get them at a bigger, just depending on what's on sale and stuff like that. So one problem, because I usually do like a bigger cup of coffee, like the 12 ounces. The Walmart one that they have, I think they only have the one cheap one that's like a single serve. Because it's a little annoying that it has a small water reservoir, and what it does is just use all the water when you use it. And usually I do like a 12 ounce cup of coffee, and I feel like it maybe kind of waters down the coffee a little bit. But when it changes to the Keurig one, it feels like it takes a little bit longer time, but I think it brews better. So I feel like brewing a K cup from Keurig, even doing like 12 ounces of water, has more of a coffee taste in the Walmart one because I think it's like maybe it's so quick that you don't get enough water in the coffee brewing. So that's nice because I did also have a coffee pot which I got rid of, so I kind of made space to kind of combine them. It's also kind of nice because it also has a big reservoir of water, so you don't have to refill it each time you want to make a cup of coffee. It is what it is. So I feel like sometimes buying a better brand is better, but that's my little blurb for Walmart for this week. The last thing I want to talk about is, I'll say it's one of my, I don't want to say my most favorite, but it's a game series I really enjoy, is Danganronpa. It's funny because the other week I saw a comic, because it did make an older video talking about the third game, and what I felt was a huge plot hole. So I think I mentioned in that video too, like if they made another Danganronpa game. And for the record, I don't think there's any news as of this recording. I'm not sure if they will revisit it because I know I think it's the creator, or at least the developer, just came out with that Raincode one on Switch. That looks cool. But basically, I want to talk about like if I made the next Danganronpa game, or if they made one, I like if I wrote it or stuff like that, just kind of like fanboy whatever, talking about the series is this is my plot hole video, and this is kind of big spoiler. Although I won't get like too explicit, but the big like plot twist with Danganronpa 3 is that the mastermind was saying, "Oh, there's been 53 Danganronpas. Like this is 53 because it had like a V in it. So like, oh, that V is Roman numeral 5, so it's 53 of them." And they just say, "Oh, I can't cosplay as you guys because that gives me these hives, this cosplox or whatever they said." And all of a sudden, like, "Oh, this Danganronpa game, it's fictional. Like all these people are like playing roles and stuff like that." So she starts cosplaying as characters from the first two games and stuff like that. And my big thing, like with my video, I mentioned like early in the game, she cosplays as one of the characters. But then she breaks down hives, kind of prove like, oh, I can't disguise myself and try to kill somebody, frame somebody, because I get cosplox. And later she's like, oh, you're all fictional. And then she cosplays the other students in previous games. So like, wait, that shouldn't be a thing, or she shouldn't have hives in the first place when she cosplays as one of them. I think I did a better job of like articulating or kind of like actually making a good commentary video, but basically I was calling that out like. Some of the big plots is like, if there were really 53 games, like why do they only remember the first two or have knowledge of the first two, and why is she only cosplaying as the first two characters from the first two? Because if that was the point, why not cosplay as any other ones if there's been 50 of them, even if they don't recognize the students or not? Like, I thought a big plot hole thing, so kind of like using that to write the next Danganronpa game. So if I wrote Danganronpa 4, I think this kind of felt like the third game. I think a lot of people really enjoy it, but I feel like a lot of people criticize the ending. It kind of feels like jumping the shark or kind of like writing the series in a corner. We feel like, oh, this Danganronpa thing is so big, it's like 50 of them, like there's no way to fight it, kind of thing. But if I were to write the next Danganronpa game, I would kind of retcon that a little bit by saying that the previous mastermind lied the whole time. At least that ending part, like, oh no, that was actually the third game. She used this huge net to really mess with you guys to like cause more despair. So they find out, oh, there weren't 50 games, so they were actually really part of the third one, and all that. And because they use that kind of plot point, like, they say like, oh, the characters in that game wanted to be part of it, stuff like that. So like, no, she was just messing with you, and all that. It's still like maybe a force to be reckoned with the people behind the Danganronpa game. I feel like the lawyers kind of I can't really do a good deep dive because I don't know like too much. I'm sure you can watch like an iceberg video, but if there were a fourth game, I would start with that, like saying retcon that, saying no, there's only been 3 games, and they'll get like a new cast of characters, the students, all that. So I think that would be a good way to kind of like. Again, I felt like the series kind of wrote itself in a corner with how the third game ended. Like it almost felt like, oh my, it's been too big of a thing that we can't. Even if we have hope, we can't really fight against it. So kind of like retcon that. I mean, angry with like a mastermind saying like she went, maybe not too ambitious, but she just is like too much, and like, okay, so it hasn't been going on that long, but it's still going on. And one thing that I think would be cool with the fourth game, if it ever comes out, if they made like a big story element that, because that's a big thing about the game, is that like at first they're really resistant about killing each other and stuff like that, and they kind of like give them motivation to do so. If you check out the third game, you kind of see how that played out. But I would say like, oh, if we're not going to kill each other, then someone else is. But how I'd play that is like have like an imposter, like they take inspiration from the previous mastermind because, oh, she can cosplay as anyone. So we have these like individuals, like maybe they injected with them with talent. I don't know, some whatever bullshit. So we have a group of cosplayer ultimates, like ultimate cosplayers, and they can cosplay as any one of the students, take their place, and then cause a kill, a murder. But they kind of keep sticking. I don't like reveal that at first because they had the first murder, and then They don't know anything about an imposter, and they try to reveal like, oh, that's not really them. That's an imposter. So as a reward for choosing the imposter is punished and eliminated, and then the one that they were impersonating is like they get removed and then they get placed back if the trial is figures it out that it was an imposter. Because I think that'd be cool to have like characters you won't expect to do a kill to get punished or be the killer and find out, oh no, that's not really them, that's an imposter and all that. I think that'd be kind of a fun story a story mechanical way to kind of change things up, so then it becomes this like, okay, so we're in this killing game, but imposters can come out at any time and kill us, so it's kind of like us versus imposters. So and with that, they'll make a rule like once that's introduced, like Monokuma would be like, oh, and as a rule, we won't impersonate the same student twice, so they get this kind of sense of I don't know, like reassurance or stuff like that, saying, okay, so since they were imposter last trial, they can't be the killer this time, or they can't be the imposter this time. But then it turns out that they like one of the students, like even though they were impersonated, they do kill themselves, and like, oh wait, students are still gonna kill. It's because they want to escape this killing game, they want to win, and all that. And I think that's also be a good way to utilize that as well, because if you have the imposter thing, you have like one imposter, one student kill, and then the imposter's real student, it did sound a little convoluted, but real student is replaced. It's not like only one student dies per trial. So it kind of can lengthen the game. But then you can have trouble like, oh, it's a actual student and that kills. So the both of them are eliminated because a real student was punished. And they can even like bring back like the double murders and stuff like that. So it'd be kind of interesting. But I think that'd be like kind of a good way to like play off the third game with the cosplaying and stuff like that. And yeah, because it feels like they how the first game started, like, oh, if no one kills and you all get killed, and like because like, oh, if they all get killed, then it's not going to be no more to this game. So I think that'd be kind of interesting to kind of have like an imposter versus student kind of theme. Then it's like turn on it says like, oh wait, students will still kill other students because they want to win. But that's besides that, I'm not gonna get not that creative. I'm not gonna go into like, oh, these are gonna be all the students to ultimate and stuff like that. But I really wish they'd bring it. It's been so long since they came out with a third game. I played through most of them. I know they have the summer camp one that's also on Steam on PC. I do have Despair Girls, like kind of like the spin-off game, action game, which I'll probably eventually stream. But let me know in the comments if you're listening this far. But this kind of ideas. But I would say if Spike Chunsoft wants to hire me, I can pitch the idea for the next Danganronpa game, just so it feels like the third game didn't hit like a brick wall. Like, okay, we went too crazy with the story and can't really proceed further because like it becomes a little convoluted, and again it feels like it's like jumping the shark kind of thing with how it ended. And of course it kind of ends on a cliffhanger too, like, oh, the survivors get rescued, but we don't really see beyond that. So I think that would be a good transition and all that, like any reference like that. But I think that would do it for this podcast. So thanks so much for listening and all that. The best way to support me in the channel is to like, comment, and subscribe. YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch are the three main ones. There's going to be a little break. I might not just, it's funny, like with the podcast being kind of like solo and just me talking about whatever, stuff or whatever. I do have some ideas, almost like themes for like topics I want to talk about. But for now, that will do it. So check out, again, the gameplay stuff. I might organize stuff because I know I'm hitting almost 200 streams for a nobody. So I'll probably do like a new playlist for that. And I think for the gameplay stuff, I might do that yearly playlist just so I don't get huge bloated playlists of uploads. But I still have it organized, but we'll see. I mean, always open to feedback and, this or that. But for now, y'all take care and have a good rest of your day. Bye.